Hello Raptors fans, and welcome back for the second episode of Raptors Overtime. Thank you for listening. My name is Vincent, and I'll be talking to you about all things Toronto Raptors. In today's episode, I'll be discussing the Toronto Raptors' 31st game of the season against the Portland Trailblazers at the Moda Center. This will be the first meeting between these two teams, and they'll meet a second time in Toronto on March 1st. The Raptors came into this game off a huge victory against the Golden State Warriors without their star forward Kawhi Leonard. I don't think anyone expected the Raptors to beat the reigning champions by 20 points, but that is exactly what they did, winning the game 113-93. On the other hand, the Trailblazers come in as losers of 2 games in a row and have lost 7 out of their last 10. After a hot start to the season, it seems that the Trailblazers have cooled off significantly and currently occupy the 9th spot in the Western Conference behind the Sacramento Kings. The Raptors played without Jonas Valanciunas, who is out for at least 4 weeks with a dislocated thumb. He sustained the injury in the second quarter in their victory against the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday. Kawhi Leonard played tonight after missing 2 straight games with a hip injury. However, the Raptors were without Kyle Lowry in this one. He was suffering from a thigh bruise, and Fred VanVleet got the start against the Trailblazers in his place. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get right into the game recap. Let's start with the first quarter and see how the Raptors fared. Kawhi Leonard was unable to hit his rhythm after missing a few games, and in the quarter, he went 0 for 4 from the field. The Raptors' offense seems to stagnate at moments in the first, and they were unable to buy a basket for portions of the quarter. The Raptors shot 42% from the field and 5 for 9 from three-point range, however gave up 7 turnovers. Pascal Siakam came to the rescue near the end of the quarter, scoring on back-to-back three-point shots, bringing the Raptors to within 5 and finished the quarter down 23-28. Siakam carried over his offensive success from the first quarter and scored the first basket in the second quarter on a post move under the basket against Zach Collins. However, the Trailblazers managed to own the Raptors in the paint and scored numerous easy baskets through Zach Collins and Miles Leonard. The Raptors' offense just did not have any rhythm to it, and Kawhi Leonard continued to miss on the offensive end, and both his and the Raptors' struggles allowed the Portland Trailblazers to grow their lead from 5 to 8 at halftime. In the third quarter, at the 8.5-minute mark, Kawhi Leonard grabbed a defensive rebound and raced to the offensive end of the floor. With his defender blowing by him, he calmly hit a three-pointer, and this felt like it was going to be the turning point for this Raptors team. After Leonard's 3, Danny Green got in on the action and hit 2 3-pointers of his own. Steady Freddie also got in on the action and scored 11 points in the third quarter, including a clutch 3 near the end of the quarter, helping the Raptors pull to within 2 points of the Trailblazers. With 12 minutes left to play, the Raptors needed to dig deep and continue on the success that they built in the third quarter. However, during the first 2 minutes, Seth Curry hit 2 big 3-pointers and helped the Trailblazers increase their lead back up to 11 points, 101-90. The bench unit of the Trailblazers came into the game and simply blew the quarter open. They hit shot after shot and played great defense. The Raptors bench mob simply wasn't able to respond. Seth Curry continued his amazing play, and the Trailblazers' large lead was built while their starter sat on the bench. With 5 minutes left in the game, the Trailblazers did a wholesale substitution, and the starters came back in and allowed the Raptors starters to claw to as close as 3 points. Down the stretch, the Raptors hit some big shots. However, there were several instances when the offense sputtered. They got called for a 5-second violation on an inbounds play, and Ibaka looked lost with 1 minute left standing at the 3-point line with Danny Green right behind him. The Raptors lose to the Trailblazers 122-128, and with this loss, the Raptors fall to 23-8 on the season and are now 2-1 on this West Coast road trip. Several Raptors played well in the third quarter and allowed the Raptors to get back into the game. However, poor play at the beginning of the fourth quarter allowed the Trailblazers to edge the Raptors on this night. Okay, now let's talk about the player of the game for the Toronto Raptors and Portland Trailblazers. For the Raptors, the player of the game could be awarded to 3 players: Kawhi Leonard, Fred VanVleet, and Danny Green. Their combined effort managed to pull the Raptors to within 2 points after the third quarter. Kawhi Leonard scored 28 points with 4 3-pointers, grabbed 6 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists. Fred VanVleet scored 21 points with 3 3-pointers, grabbed 4 rebounds, and dished out 8 assists of his own. Danny Green scored 19 points, had 11 rebounds, and shot 5 of 7 from three-point range. Without these three, the Raptors would have not had a chance of winning at all. There was no single player who carried the Portland Trailblazers to victory tonight. Therefore, the award for the player of the game will be given to the Portland Trailblazers bench. They combined for a total of 58 points and helped build a large lead in the fourth quarter that the Raptors were never able to overcome, despite playing well offensively. Evan Turner scored 12 points, Miles Leonard chipped in with 4, Zach Collins had 16 points, Nick Stauskas contributed 13, and Seth Curry finished with 13 of his own. Meanwhile, CJ Miles was the only Raptor off the bench who scored in double digits with 13. Anunoby had 5 points, Wright scored only 2, and Monroe had 6 points. The Raptors really missed the presence of both Lowry and Valanciunas in this game. Ibaka continued to play well this game and scored 18 points on 8 of 12 shooting and grabbed 7 rebounds. However, during the fourth quarter, he seemed lost on the offensive end. During an inbounds play, he tried to screen for CJ Miles, however it was unsuccessful, and instead of turning and heading towards the inbounder, he instead tried to screen a second time, and it cost the Raptors the crucial possession, as there was no one for Leonard to pass the ball to. Then again, during the final minutes of play, Ibaka was parked on the three-point line, but didn't seem to notice that Green was directly behind him. These miscues were costly and could have been the difference in this two-possession game. Another player of note for the Toronto Raptors was CJ Miles, who scored 13 points, but more impressively, shot 3 of 4 from three-point range. Miles, who is normally known as a sharpshooter from long range, has been struggling immensely with his shot this season. During this hot start to the season, this has not been an issue as much because other players have stepped up and scored enough points to cover his terrible shooting percentage. However, with Lowry and Valanciunas out, the Raptors could use as much help as they can get, and Miles turned up tonight. Hopefully, this shooting performance allows the streaky wing to string together some more solid shooting nights in the future. The underperforming player of the game for the Toronto Raptors was Delon Wright. He scored only 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting, grabbed 1 rebound, but did dish out 5 assists. His minus 16 performance tonight was underwhelming, especially with Lowry out of the lineup. The Raptors really needed him to step up and provide some solid minutes. On the injury front, the Raptors lost Pascal Siakam after the second quarter. The third-year forward was fouled hard by McCollum as he was headed to the basket for a slam dunk. Instead, he crashed onto the floor. He did manage to play the rest of the quarter, however he wasn't on the bench after halftime. Definitely something to keep our eyes on, as Siakam has been a valuable contributor to this league-leading Raptors team. Moving forward, the Raptors will be playing at Denver against the Nuggets on December 16th, and the Trailblazers will be playing against the Los Angeles Clippers on December 17th. Thank you for listening, and I hope to catch you all on the next episode after the Raptors' 32nd game of the season.